Marion, what do we actually know about this investment? How solid are these details?
So we know that there's some interest, clearly, from the Saudi Crown Prince to invest more in Credit Suisse, whether that's through the Saudi National Bank, which is obviously partially owned by the Sovereign Wealth Fund in Saudi Arabia, or also through Credit Suisse First Boston, personally through himself or through one of his other vehicles. And that's encouraging. It means there is, some appetite into various parts of the Credit Suisse business.
Does it matter if it's through his own personal investment or if it's through a Saudi investment vehicle? Is there a distinction we need to be making here on the relevance?
Not necessarily. Some of these entities are a little bit intertwined, but they all generally have the goal of investing capital abroad and really opening themselves up globally. So it's part of the mission of the Crown Prince to be investing outside of Saudi Arabia and to really be diversifying their investments. And part of that is in financial services, which is what we're seeing here with Credit Suisse. But in general, not really. I mean, it's the same sort of interest that we're seeing across the bank.
Is this on a personal capacity, or is this Saudi Arabia investing in Credit Suisse?
We're not exactly clear on the details of where it's exactly coming from. There are, Michael Klein, who will be running Credit Suisse First Boston. He's a renowned investment banker, deal maker, former Citigroup banker, has had a lot of close ties in Saudi Arabia and has had influence in bringing them in as a key shareholder for the capital raise. So there's definitely some ties there in personal relationships that are helping this along.
Mm-hmm. So then what happens now? When are we going to know for sure? And then when is the spinoff going to happen? Because that money really needs to be used by Credit Suisse for other stuff. When are we going to get the exact details?
They haven't guided on this. Unfortunately, I think they're still trying to figure out exactly how they're going to be structuring this spinoff. For the moment, it is still wholly, completely integrated into the bank. And so they're right now sort of trying to figure out how do we disconnect it from the other divisions? How do we create a legal entity to house this? And what kind of employee model are we going to have? And I think there's a lot of conversations around a partnership model where employees will have a certain stake in the spinned out boutique. But Credit Suisse also wants to keep a stake because they want to reap some of the revenues. What they're really looking for is a capital partner, so someone who's going to fund the business, and then they can still benefit from some of the profits.
When are we going to know how the credit raise went? Capital raise.
The credit raise was announced. The capital raise was is in process, so it'll be done by the end of the week. The new shares will start trading on Friday, so we will see that. Part of the capital raise has already succeeded. They had what's sort of like a private placement part of the capital raise, and that's already been committed to by the anchor shareholders, one of which is the Saudi National Bank. And the other part is the rights offering, which is still causing a lot of volatility in the stock right now and had been causing a lot of this downward trend that we saw last week. That's reversed, and it looks like there's some positivity in the market, and that will most likely come through and succeed, yeah.